Okay, this video is going to talk about how your destiny is created. Because if you want to be in control of it, and you can be in control of a lot of it, you have to know where your destiny comes from. So we talked a bit about the stress cycle, the mechanics of the neurobiology, the neurochemistry, the way science and neuroscience and social sciences look at conditioning and the reward and punishment aspect and the environment versus nurture versus nature type of arguments that explain how things come into being in your personality. Well, you can just listen to how it sounds like you are being formed. You're being shaped by one thing or another all along your life, your early life, and then you just live as that as you get older. So whether you're modeling somebody, whether you're repeating something and conditioning it into your personality, whether you're learning it just through your social and peer group pressures, there are a lot of things that influence who you think you are, but have you had a chance to get underneath all of those layers to find out what's the real deal inside? Well, let's just go layer by layer and start with the one that's in the neuromechanics of it all, that comes straight from your nervous system, because that's very subconscious and it's so quick that it can get in there before you have even a chance to notice it. So these are meant to protect you, so we all have them and they're wired in pretty deep. But if you become aware of it, you can break that wiring, you can loop it in a different way and be free of it. So the fight flight we're all aware of. I'm going to talk about 5 or 6 of them. The fight personality is the one who wants to be in control. They like to argue. They're very aggressive, very domineering, probably have a different posture, even in their body, and they lead with their chin and their chest and like to fight. But if that's the way you are in a relationship, think about, put it in perspective of how does that influence others. People with a fight personality don't think that way that much, but in terms of changing and improving and growing into something that's deeper and more real in yourself, more vulnerable, which a fight personality is trying to avoid, then this is where the awareness will serve you the most. Now, the flight personality we're also very familiar with, because you flee, you get out of there, you get out of the job, you get out of the relationship, you get out of whatever the stress is rather than face it. So you avoid confrontation, you avoid arguing, and sometimes you leave yourself. You leave your body, you dissociate. It's that much pressure when you get into a situation that brings up certain stressors. Now, the freeze personality becomes dysfunctional. You just lock up, you shut down. I know a lot of you recognize this probably at times in yourself and people that you want to relate to, and you're trying to pull something out of them, but they just can't. And their body locks and it just gets really, really tight. Excuse me, front to back, and it's just one of those types that's just really wrapped up in themselves. But when you look at it as a response to life, it's something that got laid on them subconsciously, automatically, then you can have more compassion and know that it's also not who they are. The faint personality is one who's just going to play dead. They're going to be invisible. They're not going to say anything, most likely. In conversations, they shut down in a different way, and they can seem very, very cold, and that's also a defense. There's the fine personality that we don't think of very much. And this is a personality who says, I'm fine, no problem, I'm good, didn't affect me, but it did. And they just are in denial. So I'm fine people are in denial. The last is the fawn personality. Fawn personality, easy to miss because they're people pleasers. They put other people first. They avoid conflict by agreeing. They agree with everyone. They're the chameleons. They get along because they need to get along. They just don't want to fight. They don't want to confront. They don't want to stand in what they believe in, if they let themselves believe in anything. So again, these are just presentations that come out of the nervous system and protective mechanisms. They're not who you really are. We'll get into the bigger picture around all of it in the next videos, but I wanted to just start here so you can start looking at when these personality types present themselves and where in your lives, and begin more pause and conscious awareness around them so you can make more conscious choices and rewire, reset your brain and your personality. All right, be back soon.